What is something you did that increased your quality of life so much, that you wished you would have done it much sooner because it changed your life forever? Learning to always keep my keys in the same place. If someone asks me to do something and it will take me 5 minutes or less to do it, I'll do it immediately. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I never realized how much stuff I put off until later and then promptly forgot about. Also, once you've done one 5-minute task, it's easier to just go and do the next. I became much more productive and saved myself a lot of time and effort at the same time. As a kid I read books all the time. Then I quit for some reason. Got married, had kids, started a business. Never any time for reading. Last year, at 45, I started reading books again. What a fool I was to ever stop. I got locked up for missing a court date for a week or so. Never left my cot. Just read. I loved it, was sore from lack of movement. But I'd love to do that again, minus jail of course. Honestly, shaving my head. As someone who started losing hair at age 20, had the old monk bald spot by 23, and horseshoe by 25, it took me until 29 to say f it, I'm shaving. I have a lot more confidence and have gotten compliments BC of it. Edit, thanks for the silver. This really blew up. I'll try to respond to any questions as I have time, thanks everyone. Edit 2, OMG thanks for the gold. Hair loss pays off again lol. Edit 3, holy cow thanks for the plats. I never knew so many people had the same issues. Cue ball club is here guys. I had a decayed wisdom tooth with an exposed nerve, and I lived with it for 10 years, when I didn't have dental or disposable income. My life changed the day I had it pulled. If there's something wrong with your teeth, find a way to get it taken care of. I spent a decade in pain whenever I drank something cold or chewed on the left side of my mouth, and I could have had it corrected much sooner if I'd had my act together. For anyone else with a bad tooth problem and no dental insurance, go see your local dentist, and tell him/her about your financial situation. Some will work with you on a repayment plan, even if it takes a while for you to come up with the money. Also, some tooth problems, a tooth abscess, for example, can be fatal due to the infection spreading if you don't get it taken care of, so you'll wanna get it taken care of sooner rather than later. Related story, a few years back my brother-in-law was out of town, and got a really bad tooth infection. A local dentist not only made time to see him, but also did the work necessary to get rid of the infection and said that he could just pay him when the money was available. Maybe my brother-in-law just got lucky, but I've heard of other dentists being accommodating too. For what it's worth, this was a dentist in a small town of less than 5k people, but getting a job I didn't hate. I'm so much happier now even though I'm making half as much. Applying for a job I didn't think I was qualified for. It doubled my salary and let me move to a place I'd only ever dreamed of living in. This gives me hope. I'm terrified of interviews because I feel like such a fraud, so I can't even apply. But I also cannot stand the thought of staying in my current job forever. Imposter syndrome is awful, but after all, aren't we all capable of learning? Going way beyond your comfort zone is one good way of growing. Working out and eating right. The thing I would add here is how to work out and eat right. I fell into so many traps that didn't work, and then I also let diet and exercise feel like a stressful punishment. For reference, I've lost 60 pounds and kept it off for 2 years after failing multiple times. Love every second of it, and I did it on my terms and still ate lots of cake and pizza. 6 years ago I decided to never be late to anything ever again. My whole life up until that point I was always late to everything, school, birthdays, etc. Anyway, making sure I'm on time saves me a lot of trouble and a lot of stress and anxiety. Also, everyone I know, who has noticed it, really appreciates it. Being on time for plans shows that you care about people, and that they are important to you. Edit, thank you for the silver. Never had anyone give me that before. This sounds like me. My husband has always been extremely punctual, and my mom is literally late to everything. I mean everything. When we got married, he was annoyed at first, then one day, He sat me down and explained that he'd realized I never had the tools I needed to be on time. He had tons of advice, and I took all of it. I started out by writing down what I needed to do before leaving the house and estimating how much time each task would take. After doing that for a few months, making adjustments here and there, it really clicked. Now I'm always on time too. I stopped writing down the lists about 8 years ago. Preventative physio. Edit, since everyone's asking, I went to see a physiotherapist. Anyone have advice on how to find a good physio so I can add it in here? I'm 31, in decent shape, and never had any serious injuries. However, my family has a history of back and knee problems, and my knees and shoulders have been a consistent issue. I used to teach snowboarding, and gave it up cause my knees were always inflamed. Long-haul flights became prohibitively painful cause of my shoulders and knees. It got bad enough that I struggled to play longboard games, cause I'd usually have a totally cramped shoulder and inflamed knee from sitting still/looking down too long. It built up so slowly though that I just gradually accepted it. Finally went to see someone when my shoulders were particularly stiff and painful. Turns out my feet rolled inwards, supination I think? Edit, it's pronation. I had really inflexible hamstrings causing my hip to be massively rolled forwards, and I walk with my head jutted like an inch more forward than is healthy. Spent 100 pounds and 2 hours there, one being assessed, one being taught corrective exercises, and 2 months later all my knee and shoulder problems have disappeared. I'm actually shocked at how much joint pain I'd just gradually accepted and forgotten was a problem. I wish I'd gone sooner. Once I have some more cash, I'm definitely getting back on a snowboard. I seriously missed it. My jaw continued to drop as I read your post. I have all the exact same issues. From the inward flat feet to the neck issue. What did you do to get it fixed? My chiro wanted to charge me $200 a month for 3 times a week body adjustment sessions, but it seemed like a load of bull and they weren't doing anything. The muscles surrounding a joint respond to adjustment by relaxing. This is why it always feels good to have your back popped. Everything is relaxed afterwards. This doesn't actually fix any of the issues causing your pain and your back tightens up again. Only temporary relief. Chiros temporarily treat the symptoms over and over again because dollars. A physical therapist will treat the problem and teach you how to treat it yourself. Chiros want you to come back to keep spending money. A PT doesn't. Doctorate of Physical Therapy here. Practicing for 5 years. Not being afraid to admit when I'm wrong. For years, I was obsessed with being correct about everything. This semester, one of my professors said that it's okay if we are not experts in the material yet. From then on, I've actually been better at admitting when I do not know an answer or saying the wrong answer in class without cringing/hating myself. It's not a mistake to be wrong, it's a mistake to not learn from your mistake, not to evaluate where it went wrong, to not try to improve yourself, and to reduce the chance of repeating the mistake. I say reduce because it's often impossible to 100% prevent a mistake from repeating itself, and that's perfectly okay too, as long as you can honestly say I tried. I started drinking at a young age mostly because I was shy and introverted and it helped me come out of my shell. It was a way to be able to talk to people. It became a crutch. I've had some great times, but since I've stopped drinking at the late age of 64, I'm beginning to feel so much better and wonder how different and more fulfilling my life could have been if I'd just tackled my insecurities when I was younger rather than turning to alcohol. Edit, wow. Thank you for all your thoughtful and heartfelt responses, and for the gold and platinum. I am humbled. I got a lot of houseplants to put all over my house. Makes my home environment look beautiful and feel homey, fresh, and just all around better. Edit, if you have any pets, make sure to look up what plants are safe for your furry friend before purchasing a plant. Edit 2, thank you so much for my first silver ever. Stopped assuming that people's thoughts about me were at all similar to that extremely critical voice in my head. It's still somewhat of a struggle to stay positive. But, overall, being yourself and staying present when with others really reduces anxiety. Peaceful would be a good word to describe it. One of the best things a mentor told me was nobody cares as much about you as you do about yourself. And he didn't mean it in a condescending way, just that nobody is thinking as much about anyone else as they are about themselves. Felt so relieved after that aha moment. Edit, thanks for the unexpected silver. Admitting that I needed a therapist. As a teenager with strict parents, if I was caught saying anything against them I was automatically grounded, so I couldn't let out my emotions and I felt like a double agent in my own house. With a therapist, I could work through my problems without the risk of being in trouble. My parents took me to family therapy instead of letting me see a therapist on my own so they could make sure I wasn't saying anything against them or keeping secrets from them. Buying all the same socks. No more folding, no more matching, no more looking for missing sock bureaus. Just throw them all in a drawer, reach in, grab two and get your day started right. That sounds heavenly. Regulating my alcohol intake. Paying attention in general to how my body reacts to what I introduce it to. At 23 years old, I was sitting at the dining room table with my parents and extended family. We were going around the table saying where we saw ourselves in the future, like 5 or 10 years. When it got around to me, before I could talk, my dad said, "You'll be dead or in jail." That was in 2004. I haven't had a sip of alcohol, or done any illicit drugs since that day. And boy has my life changed. Amazing how 6 words can change your life. Glad I realized it was time to make that change. Edit, obligatory thanks for the 3 silvers, smile and the gold, smiley face. To answer some of the questions, yes, my dad is an amazing guy. He turns 70 this year. No, it wasn't an intervention. The comment was made off the cuff and then they moved on to the next person. LASIK. I used to be so nearsighted that I couldn't see anything more than about 6 inches in front of my face. Great for reading. Terrible for life. And if you lose your glasses, you need your glasses. To find your glasses. Then I got LASIK. Wow, has my life changed. LASIK is the best decision I have ever made. And I have kids that I love. And if you lose your glasses, you need your glasses. To find your glasses. I had a weird narcissistic parent that had an obsession with organizing things and putting stuff in drawers. If you organize things correctly you never lose them, I was told. Anytime I put my glasses beside me while napping or any activity, they would be gone. Had to live with this shit until I was a grown man. It took years of screaming to get them to understand that moving them was equivalent to hiding them because I can't see without them. Life pro tip, if you lose your glasses, open up your camera on your phone. You can see the screen since it's close to you and the camera can see long distances.